Hello and welcome, Gold viewers from around the world. I'm Kristen Schwartz, licensed midwife and one of the MCs here at Gold. And today I'm very excited. I'm talking to Dr. Tríona McCaffrey, and she's part of our Gold Labor and Delivery Symposium. We get started with it's just around the corner. And her presentation is titled The Rhythm of Birth, Using Music to Support Mind and Body During Labor. I can't wait for that. But first of all, welcome, Tríona.
Thank you so much, Kristen. It's great to be here, and thank you for the invitation to present at this Goal Learning Series.
So, Tríona, tell me a little bit about yourself. I find you have a fascinating background. So, number one, where in the world are you?
Yes, so I work at the University of Limerick in the Midwest region of Ireland, and my background is I'm a trained music therapist, and my practice background is in adult mental health. So I've worked a lot with adults and older adults in inpatient and outpatient settings, with particular emphasis on recovery and mental health. And in more recent times, I have become quite focused in research and practice on music in the perinatal period.
Beautiful. Absolutely fascinating. I love that, now we're looking at the fields of music and dance, how beneficial this is for mental health, right? I feel like, and we just talked briefly, about it before that it feels like just scratching the surface right now, right? Like there is so much more to discover in this field.
Absolutely, Kristen. I think that there is increasing awareness of the role of the arts in support as to support health and well-being. And even in having this discussion today, I think it will be so exciting to see how the area develops over the next decade or so. It's been fascinating to see, even in the past 10 years, the amount of publications and research related to music in the perinatal period. And you know, when we think about music, when we think about the arts, we're talking about creative practices that are accessible to everyone. And I think that's really important when we think about taking a holistic, salutogenic approach to healthcare delivery. So an exciting area to be in, and an exciting area to work in and collaborate with, many healthcare practitioners in the field. So I've had experience of, closely working with midwives, with perinatal psychiatry, obstetricians, gynecologists, neonatologists, clinical nurse specialists. It's been fantastic. And I think that the when you have a group of people who work together, who are committed to promoting women's health, I think that there's great potential there to see where that and how that might develop in future.
And what I'm fascinated about is also that there is research. And you said there will be more research, hopefully, to come too. But there is already a lot of publications in recent years, because. uh, music. Many of us love music, right? It has accompanied us through, our adult life, or from childhood to adulthood. We all still remember the songs we loved as teenagers, and memories are triggered, happy memories. So and, many of us, when we talk to our clients, be it as if we're nurses or midwives or working in the field, we suggest, listen to your music. It's calming, it's soothing. Maybe have maybe some birth music for your birth available. But we don't really know that what are the benefits of this? Is there really scientific evidence that there are benefits of listening to music in labor? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Mm, yes, I think, well, first of all, I think encouraging clients to listen to music is something that has become quite intuitive to midwives' practice. You see something that might benefit, or something that's person centered for an individual, and that's really important. And I think that the idea actually of music for health and well-being is actually age old. Going back to ancient times in Greek temples called Asclepians, healing temples, music was a key part of treating individuals who were unwell or were in recovery from illness. So what we have now is a different frame on understanding music for well-being, through an evidence-based window, through medical practice. And I think it's important to say that, as a music therapist, I'm really aware of the having that foot in between, music as something that is accessible, that's age old, and but yet also thinking about it within the parameters of evidence-based practice. So we've got those two areas. But in terms of the evidence that you mentioned, Kristen, um, I think, there's been lots of accounts of using music, but then how do you harness it and use it in an effective way in childbirth? It has been really interesting to look at that in the literature. When I first started to look at this topic over 10 years ago, there was very little out there. And I looked at it not only as a music therapist, but also as someone who was about to have give birth for the very first time, looking for, tell me how to use music. How can it help my childbirth? And I think the evidence really is that music listening in childbirth can not only reduce pain, it can also reduce anxiety, it can offer psychological support, and it can offer women a sense of having, control, some sense of control in childbirth, but also I think, personalizing the childbirth space, which is incredibly important for women in feeling comfortable, in heard, in listened to in that space. So there is evidence there to support that, but also to say that I guess, research in this area is rather tricky, because trying to monitor, responses to music listening in the throes of labor is, a really difficult a job, and maybe something that not many women would welcome to be part of such research. So it is a tricky area, but I think that's the challenge to us as healthcare practitioners and as researchers to find ways of thinking about, how do we capture this evidence, so that it's important that those who are meeting women every day can say with confidence, yes, music listening is a tool, a valid tool that you can have in your labor toolkit.
And the labor toolkit, absolutely love it. And what I love about it, when you mentioned it, it's as accessible. Everybody has access to it, and it doesn't cost much or anything. And everybody has some kind of, maybe like their can listen to music on their phone or something, and personalization of the labor space, because we all know how daunting it could be in the hospital, especially, or in a birth center, or in an out of home setting, especially, where there's machines going, where there's strangers walking in and out, and there's harsh lights and such. So music, you mentioned, that is really able to kind of personalize the space, and kind of also be very soothing, and be actually supportive in pain reduction, which we know about many of the tools for pain reduction, change of positioning, breathing, and such, unmedicalized, methods.
Mhm.
But listening to music was never one that I considered. I thought it was nice to have, nice something to have on the side, but I did not know that it could be really a really powerful tool as part of the toolkit. So that's thank you so much for pointing that out.
Mm. And I think, the theory around music, music listening for pain reduction is that, the gate control theory, whereby if we can add in another stimulus that will reduce the gate for pain threshold, then a person's pain sensation will be reduced. And that, I suppose, comes from a much wider music listening research area too. For example, music listening for people who experience chronic pain or in other health conditions. But it's a theory that's often used when we describe or provide a rationale for music listening in a childbirth, but also, that music, can, encourage that pain reduction through, release of endorphins. So I guess, it's an exciting area, and it will be interesting to see how it develops.
What kind of music is especially beneficial, or is that just according to the taste of the person who's giving birth, or the family there, or can you say, like, oh, classical music is the best, or I don't know, R&B is the best, I don't know, is
Yeah.
there such thing?
Yeah, great question, Kristen. So I think what's really important in that music listening, in choosing music for childbirth, is that the person themselves has a connection with the music. So, it could be that you have a certain preference around genre. Music is so much about one's identity, one's culture, and it's important that connection is there. And that's key to what I do and how I teach my students in music therapy. There is no one piece of music that will have the same impact on each person. We all listen to music with different listening ears. And I think the other point to add in here is that, we never know unless we explore it with our clients, is maybe there's a piece of music that can evoke negative emotions
Mhm.
or memories, or difficult past situations. um, and so screening music, having a preference for music, is really important. But I will say that there is a trend towards, certainly for part of on one's music listening playlist for childbirth, to have instrumental music. And we think that is something to do with the mental load of listening to lyrics with instrumental accompaniment, particularly in later stages of labor, when labor is quite established. So there's something there, again, exciting area in terms of, neuroscience of music. What is happening um, it, it neuroscientifically in a woman's brain in listening to music at different stages of labor. So we do recommend in our work to have an instrumental playlist. It doesn't have to be a part of your playlist. So there can be different parts of one's playlist that they might wish to use for labor. Whereas in early stages of labor, maybe someone wants to use music to be motivated, to get on their birthing ball, or to walk around or move. And maybe they want to have their upbeat songs that they might use in the gym or use for going out to get motivated to do something. So different music at different times, but connection and meaningfulness is key.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, I can't wait for your presentation now, Trina. I can't wait to learn all about the music and, how to encourage it and utilize and during labor and the prenatal period. Before I let you go, any final words for our viewers? What are you hoping they will be taking away from the presentation?
Mm. Well, I hope they'll take away a few things. That they'll take away some information about the evidence base for music listening, so they'll have confidence in being able to share or suggest music listening as a tool for the labour toolkit or tool bag. I would also like to, share how flexible music can be across childbirth and how it can be applied. Um, and I guess also to acknowledge that there, whilst we as practitioners and researchers have access to, research and a knowledge base, we also, that knowledge base doesn't always reach women. And I
Mhm.
think to have advocates for sharing some of that knowledge with women, to empower them to say, yes, you can. And birthing persons, it's that knowledge to be able to use music listening, then I would be very happy to finish that presentation then. And also just to say that I have a book here called but a slightly blurred background, but Music for Parental Wellbeing. And apologies if you can't see that very clearly, but I will share it in my slides. So it's a book published by Oxford University Press on music for parental mental well-being. And in that book, I have a chapter on music listening for childbirth that I will recommend reading as a supplementary text for the presentation today.
Beautiful. Thank you so very much, Dr. Trina McCaffrey, for being here with me today, talking about the wonderful work you're doing and also about your presentation here with us at Gold.
Thank you, Kristen.
And now some words for our viewers if you're really intrigued and interested now in this presentation and the other presentations of the symposium, the Labor and Delivery Symposium 2025. We invite you to go to goldlearning.com for more information. We do have a free and open access keynote presentation that will be live and also recorded on October 6th. So make sure you reserve your seat for that and check out all the wonderful presentations in the symposium. And we hope to see everyone there at the symposium. Thank you all for watching and have a lovely rest of your day wherever you are in the world. Bye bye, everyone.